Hi there, my name's Tallman, and let's talk about hand buff Paladin.
On December 1st, 2016, Hearthstone released the Mean Streets of Gadgetzan expansion. The main theme of this set was the three gang factions that the classes were split into. Mage, Priest, and Warlock made up the Cabal, Hunter, Paladin, and Warrior made up the Grimy Goons, and Druid, Rogue, and Shaman formed the Jade Lotus. A first for Hearthstone, each faction featured cards that could be used by all three of the classes within one group. The Cabal focused on potions and Highlander payoff cards, the Jade Lotus made larger and larger men in the form of Jade Golems, and the Grimy Goons main mechanic was buffing minions' stats while they were still in hand. While the hand buffing mechanic was seen as the weakest of the three, Paladin did get the best individual class cards of them, with Smuggler's Run and Grimestreet Outfitter. Over time, more hand buff synergy cards were printed, but the mechanic failed to take off time and time again. But now, with Forged in the Barrens and the new core set, we see a few more pieces of the hand buff puzzle starting to come together. Will it be enough to finally make this archetype viable?
Welcome back to Bottom Deck Achievements, a Hearthstone achievement hunting series. As the intro said, today we're going to be looking at hand buff Paladin in Wild today. It's an incredibly fun deck, and I can't wait to see if Invigorating Sermon is actually worth it. But first, we have one achievement we need to crack. I played a single run of duels just to see if it might be something viable for chasing some of these achievements, and I managed to do the first step of this one, dealing extra damage with nature spells as Shaman. It's a little iffy, but I got there for a little bit. What's the level 3 for this one? 150 extra damage, so there's certain ways we can get there in duels, but I'll probably cover that in a later video. But right now, let's get to the matter at hand, hand buff Paladin. So I have been playing a little bit of this deck, and it is pretty dang fun. I do have a bit of a history with hand buff Paladin. A little over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago at this point, I made my first big push on Wild to see how high I could climb in the ladder. I got to about rank 3, this was on the old rank system, and I did it mostly with hand buff Paladin. It was incredibly fun, but Wild then got a little too fast. But just like the intro said, this new set and the core set has given hand buff Paladin a couple new tools to play with, namely Blademaster Samuro, who looks incredible in Diamond, I might say, and Overlord Runthak, which is a little bit of an interesting, quick damage hand buff card. So this is the list I've been running. There's a couple lists floating around, like I know the other month Solemn hit Legend with hand buff Paladin. It's just a couple high Legend lists running around of this, but this is the list I've been running, and I've been finding decent success with it. My MMR is okay in Wild. It's a lot better than it is in Standard. As you can see, there's only a little bit of draw here. A lot of lists like to run Salhet's Pride to draw 1 health minions from the deck, but it's on a Death Rattle, not a Battle Cry. It seems a little slow. It's rare in the early game that I'm like itching for cards. And plus, if Invigorating Sermon is indeed worth running, then it won't matter because we'll be buffing cards in our deck. So I'm going to try running 2 copies of this card. So I think I'm going to cut 1 Carnival Clown, because even though it is pretty good, a lot of the time games don't get to turn 9 for me to actually put this guy down. So I'm going to cut 1 because I think having 1 could be powerful. And I'm actually going to cut 1 Smuggler's Run. I think this card is a bit of a trap, because if I see it in my opening hand 9 times out of 10, I'm going to hang on to it and then probably just play it on turn 1. But it feels a little bad to spend your turn 1 doing that. I'd much rather not have it in my opening hand and try to find something like Crystology or Righteous Protector or Crabrider or something like that. So I'm actually going to take out 1 copy and put in the Invigorating Sermon. 2 copies. This is a new card from the new set. Give +1/+1 to all minions in your hand, deck, and battlefield. So it actually buffs your board as well. It's super interesting, and I've never seen it played. I guess let me go back to the achievement page, because I didn't actually show off how many of these we need to hit. Okay, so for level 1, we need to hit 60, 200 for level 2, and 600 for level 3. Now, I don't know how long this is actually going to take. This 22 came from 1 single cast of the card. So I'm curious to see if this is the average, if this is a low roll, or if this is a high roll for the buffs. But I guess we'll find out after we hop into a couple of games. So without further ado, let's get into one. That, ugh. You hate to see that. Well, job's done. 2 horsies in hand. It's not ideal. Okay, I don't agree with magic tricking on turn 1. That's actually not great. Grimestreet Outfitter with only 2 guys in hand feels pretty bad. If I can hit like a Crystology or a First Day of School, Incanters on 2, it's not good. You know what? Sure. I at least hit 2 charges. Can help. Please leave both of my 1/1s up, so my buff on 4 will actually be good. My sermon on 4.
What to do? What to do?
Okay, probably an ice block. In case this is... Let's see. Okay, probably ice block. Wow, Glowstone Technician next turn is going to turn these into 6 attack boys. Ooh. That doesn't feel good. So they're probably running Mozaki if they're running Cram Session. They're running my preferred version of this deck. Maybe they just haven't updated it in a while. Well, now they can't ping these guys down, which is really good. I really want to cast the second one next turn, but I know I need to develop Glowstone Technician. Wow, double Cram Session? That's awful. Hey, First Day of School. That's really good. 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Wow, we almost have... Ooh, thank you. Fortunately, that Crystology is now a bad card for us. We are 1 damage off of being able to pop Ice Block. Wow, I don't see this card run in these decks, ever. So yeah, unfortunately Crystology is a dead card, but I can at least... How do I want to do this? I guess let me put this on the board. That way next turn I can Summon Horserider for big damage. And I guess I'll develop the Timberwolf and hold on to the Gibberling. Fortunately now Crystology is pointless for us, but I don't think it matters too much. We're getting... Okay. Going for it? Or are you gonna freeze the board again? They're searching. Found 2 spells. Can you do it? Ooh, are they just hoping I can't kill the Sorcerer's Apprentice? Well, they obviously don't have anything that can deal damage to me. Otherwise, they would have... Wait, was that a discovered secret? Created by Magic Trick. So what is this gonna be? Okay. Alright, Alright, well, they're one Sorcerer's Apprentice down. I can't remember if they flowed twice this game already. They're still using their spells to kill my guys. They only have 6 cards left in their deck. Is it possible that they just haven't found Mozaki yet? I'm still at 30 health. I'm about to develop a ton of... Oh, that sucks. Oh, I hit a... What? Oh, please don't fall asleep. This is like the worst card in the game. This is so bad. I got Prince 3. Alright, there's their second flow. A little too late, but... Seriously. Go forth, my 1/1. Okay. Oh. Okay. There was that. Let's instead...
The cavalry's here. Don't worry, lads. The cavalry's here.
Okay. We still have 1 charge minion in hand.
Amazing.
Okay. Unfortunately, I won't be able to heal unless they drop a minion. Oh. Okay. They're using up a lot of spells. I don't know if they're going to be able to OTK. Alright, I gotta pop their block at least now. The champion. I really wanted to drop just Clown to drop a bunch of stuff on board, but I need to... F9... Alright, do your worst. How many cards do you have left? 2 cards in deck, 7 in hand.
Well played.
Am I dead? Did you finally find it? They just frostbolt themselves? Okay. They must have just drawn really, really poorly. Like, using a turn to just play Sorcerer's Apprentice is the worst thing you can do in that deck. It's just really, really bad. Another Druid. There's Gibberling. So I can deal with this. Ooh, they use it to make a 3/2. Okay. Please let me draw Samuro. Just one time. Give me Samuro. It's not Samuro.
Justice.
Yeah, I'm dead.
The victory is yours.
Well, we almost stabilized. There's a couple cards in our deck that could have got us there. That's unfortunate. I was about to be on a win streak too. They're not on the coin. That's good. I am throwing this entire hand in the garbage. Bit of a top-heavy hand. No quest. That's good. That'll be good on turn 2. I got time. Could be any priest deck. Every priest deck runs Shadow Visions. Oh, that's good. Found a Crabrider. It's a decent hand to buff. Bunch of fast things in there. I really want to next turn coin out one of the Glowstone Technicians. Seems like it'll be really good. If this is Big Priest, they'll start doing stuff on turn 5 or so. This looks like Big Priest so far, so this will be really interesting to see how this matchup goes, because I'm going to be making a lot of huge boys myself. Ooh, especially when I draw another fast boy here. Unfortunately, Big Priest can get very out of hand very fast, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see how this goes. They probably, yeah, I was gonna say they Shadow Essence here. Okay, that's fine. That could have been a lot worse.
Pretty colors.
So we have, this is at 7, so we're at 14 burst from hand. That's good. They're probably resurrecting their guy here, or developing further. The worst thing would be if they pull a Blood of Gahoon.
Free of that blasted tower.
Okay. Is that it? Ooh, you made a mistake, buddy.
Behold,
Pretty colors.
for justice.
Okay, I have a very, very healthy board, and I think I'm, let's see, 7, 14. I'm 1 off of lethal next turn. If they don't heal and don't develop a board or do anything. I need them to not kill my board. Okay. It's interesting. Okay, it's over. This is done. Easiest win of my life.
This battle is yours.
Yeah. I just finished playing 10 games in a row with this deck, and I only went 5-5. So if you have a couple bonus stars in Wild, it's an okay deck to climb with. But most importantly, with the exception of maybe one of the games, none of them really felt hopeless, which I think is a very good thing in a deck. A lot of them could have gone differently had myself or an opponent just drawn a slightly different card. I believe we hit rank 2 of the achievement at some point, so let's pop that. Great. And let's just do some quick math. My average buffs per game so far have been 21.8, so rounded up to about 22. That's on average. I played Sermon once per game. A couple games I played 0, a couple games I played 2. But overall, it actually didn't feel terrible. I was expecting it to be a little too clunky, too unwieldy, but the fact that it buffs your board as well as your deck is a pretty good plus, in my opinion. There are a couple games where the board buffing actually helped me trade a lot better, trade up with a couple minions, or get out of range of dying to a hero power. So I actually don't hate the Sermon card. The only biggest issue is that if you buff your whole deck, it turns off Crystology, which is one of your most important cards, but you want to be looking for that card in the mulligan anyway, so hopefully you've played it once or twice by the time you find your Sermons. But yeah, I'm going to keep playing this deck. I think it's a ton of fun. If you have the cards for it, definitely give it a shot. There's all sorts of other cards you can throw in as well, and plenty of different deck lists for it. Maybe mine doesn't work for you. Maybe you prefer Zeddies or Solemns or whoever else has a hand buff Paladin deck. But I'm glad that this deck is actually somewhat viable because it's an archetype I've loved for a long time, and it finally got some love in this set. Well, that's going to do it for me today. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you wish. I put these out once a week. And hey, if you really want to be where I'm at, follow me at twitch.tv/HeyTallman. You probably won't find me streaming too much Hearthstone there, but I'd appreciate it if you check me out there anyway. And as always, if there's an achievement you'd like me to check out in a future video, please feel free to leave it in a comment below. With all that being said, take easy, have a great day, and may the cards you need the most never be at the bottom of your deck.